Hey, what's up? My name's Grant Kanoki. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and artist, and you're listening to Power 98.5.
We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5. You're listening to Power 98.5, powered by United Angels Dream, your number one resource for public relations, entertainment, and multimedia. Contact them today at unitedangelsdream.com.
Hi, this is Dan Aykroyd. He's progressive. He's beautiful. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's powerful. He's positive. He is Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
We're going to back that up a little bit. I'm loving the introduction that Oliver had created for us, the little video promo. Let's go ahead and play that real quick. We have got to hear that. Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Oliver Trevena. Make sure you tune in to Power 98.5 with Stephen Cuoco. I'll be talking about my current movies, my upcoming movies, and my beverage brand, Cali Water, that I co-founded with my dear friend, Vanessa Hudgens.
Now we can get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You are live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio. Whether you're tuning in on iOS or Android, or even Alexa, in your car, in your home, we are always here available 24/7 with the best in entertainment, news, sports, and everyday people's lives that are living a real life, doing real things. And you all know we don't do BS media here. We really cover great stories, great mission statements, people like Oliver, that I'm truly blessed, and a big shout out to my good friends Angel Cintron and Steve Nava over at Sanava Photography on a job well done with the photo shoot that they recently had with Oliver. He's an actor, he's an investor, and most importantly, I'm looking forward to finding out more about Cali Water and everything else that's happening with him. Oliver, I mean,
hey, mate.
What is it that you're not doing and you don't have your hands in that we cannot get enough of? And it's a hard enough time to keep up with all of it because you're just so packed full of extraordinary.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. I guess the one thing I'm probably not doing enough of is resting. But I'm extremely grateful for everything. You know, it's been a journey. I've been in the States for like 18 years now, and done a bunch of different things. Obviously, I was hosting for many years, and then about 4 or 5 years ago, got back into acting because I missed it so much. And it's been nonstop since then. And then away from that, I enjoy the entrepreneurial part of life as well, and that kind of leads me into Cali Water, which I launched with my dear friend. I mean, she's practically like my sister, Vanessa Hudgens. So that's been a whirlwind. We're about 14 months into launch, and that's just been nonstop. That's really exciting. And then a few other businesses here and there, and yeah, it's been nonstop. I just got to LA on Saturday night. I just wrapped a movie in Bulgaria, and I'm only here until Thursday, and then I leave for Puerto Rico to film another movie for 6 weeks. So it's kind of it really is nonstop. But as I say, I try and stay, very grateful, and that kind of offsets the part of me that wants to complain because I'm tired. So, trying to find that balance, as we all are, I'm sure.
Well, in that balance, I know you in a what was it? It was a really good publication about you, to where you shared about your mom and dad, about how you credit them who inspires you the most.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm very lucky. I wrapped in Bulgaria. I stopped back through London for a couple of days and saw mum and dad, and they're still the same. They created businesses on their own, and they're now mid-70s and they're still in the office. You know, it's like that kind of work ethic that you grow up around. You know, it's a blessing and a curse because it makes you just, you know, not want to stop and not take things for granted and carry on. But at the same time, as I say to my parents, I'm like, guys, you don't need to go in the office right now. Rest, you know. But yeah, I do credit them. I'm very lucky to have the, you know, upbringing and the support, and you know, they always, you know, embrace my, I guess, my kind of different personality. You know, I'm from a small little town just south of England, and there wasn't really a lot in the arts. But for whatever reason, it's what I wanted to do from like 4 years old, and they never stopped me. And, you know, even at 16 years old, when I left school and wanted to move away and, you know, follow my own dreams, they never, you know, they were like, go for it. You know, you're going to make your own mistakes. You're going to figure it out. You're going to fall down a few times. You're going to hit a few walls. And, you know, it was that kind of like, I guess, unconditional love, but also letting me go off and find my way myself as well, you know, which was very important.
Are you still finding time to play soccer and journaling?
I'm still, you know what, journaling, I mention it again, but I guess my journaling is really just gratitude. I try and make a gratitude list every day. Well, I do one every day and try and, you know, stick to that. I probably don't journal enough. I should, because, you know, as soon as you put pen to paper, you get out of your head and kind of let go of a few things. I probably should do that more. So I'll take the fact that you mentioned that as a sign, and I'll get back on track there. And football, I still do play. I love football. As in soccer, I guess, just for anyone listening, I'm not playing any NFL. But yeah, so soccer I love, and I still play, you know, on a kind of a couple of pickup teams, and, you know, whenever I'm in town, I try and play. But that has got hard, you know, recently, because like I'm back now, but I'm back for a few days, and I can't really risk, you know, going to a kickabout tomorrow night, you know, in case I get injured. And, you know, the next film I'm doing is an action film, so have to be very careful there. The producers will be pretty upset. And it did happen a few years ago. True story. I went up for a kickabout and ended up dislocating my knee and was on crutches, and then had to fly to Alabama 2 days later to do a movie, which obviously they had to kind of cut me out of to some extent, because, you know, my character was now on crutches. So it's a bit risky. But, you know, you still have to do the things you love. You can't kind of live in fear of those things happening. So yes, to answer your question in a very long way, I do still play soccer.
When do you find the moments, Oliver, to make them important for yourself when it comes to self-reflection, decompression, and really to help you evolve so that you don't become too stuck in being on the go all the time?
It's a really good point, Stephen. I just had this conversation with a friend this morning. You know, it's that feeling of being like on a hamster wheel to some extent. You know, you just go, and you don't get to actually enjoy the moments enough of the success or of the things that you've worked so hard to get, because instantly you're trying to do the next thing, which I'm guilty of. So, you know, I try and do things that pull me out of the thinking or out of that kind of motion. And those things are things that I love, you know, whether it's boxing or soccer or even tennis. You know, I took up tennis during COVID and absolutely love it. And those things that kind of, I guess, put us in the flow state, as people call it, you know, where you're not thinking about anything else other than the moment you're in. That's really important. But it's a tough world we're in for that. You know, I think because of social media, because of technology, because of, you know, the access that people have to us 24/7 and the access we have to people 24/7, I think it's, once again, a blessing and a curse. I think it's an incredible thing. But it's hard to then stop, you know, especially if you have a personality that kind of enjoys it and gets a rush from, you know, that kind of like keep going mentality. It's something I think in all things that I'm working on personally and in life, I am trying to get better at finding the balance so I can be more in the moment and enjoy the moments of success, as opposed to during that, you know, incredible thing that we've worked so hard to get, the mind's telling us what's next. So it's something I'm constantly working on. And it's probably the hardest thing to do, you know, so at least for me. So
life is a dance, and we all know even when you are still, there's still movement. It is no secret, you know, you were a dancer, you performed in ballet for 12 years, and you also, you know how to sing. In your dance of life and life to dance, does that translate to who you are as Oliver, the performer, Oliver, the actor, but also the Oliver that is a man and a friend and a son and a confidant?
Yeah, it's funny you say. I mean, life is a dance, you know, and I will say that kind of, you know, strict kind of tough upbringing that a dancer has. I mean, it is a full on, you know, craft to learn, and it's very strict, and it's kind of, I guess, from a young age taught me about structure and that kind of, you know, tough mentality that you have to stay focused. And it helps me, you know, it helps me in what I'm doing now. It's funny when I've, you know, been in movies recently and there's fight sequences, you know, whether it's with a sword or whether it's boxing or whatever it is, that kind of repetition of, you know, it's all a dance really. You're rehearsing a sequence, and I think that's definitely played into a part of life of helping me. But I guess to answer your question around what separates me, I think it's that it's the moments you stop, you know, you pause and you can pull yourself out of, you know, what's work, what's an actual performance, what's real. You know, I remember talking with a dear friend of mine, Lewis Howes, who's truly incredible, you know, a few years back. And it was a very important factor that came up for me. It's that kind of like mask, you know, as performers, or we all have it, whether you're a performer or not, but we kind of put on a mask. And it's understanding like when you're wearing that mask and when you're not wearing that mask, you know, what's real, how do you actually feel, and how are you pretending you feel. And as I say, I think all of that comes when you just stop, you know. I love, you know, I get into things like I've never really been, I say good at yoga. I know you're not meant to be theoretically good at yoga or bad at yoga. It's just yoga, but I'm just not, you know, I guess I don't do it that much. But one thing I love is breath work. I absolutely love doing breath work because it kind of puts me in the real present moment, and then gives my mind time to think of things that maybe would have been shut down if I was kind of on that hamster wheel. So the breath work helps. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but you know, it is life is a dance, right? So
no, you did. I appreciate that. When we think about the emotional and mental climate, the emotional and mental health of where people are at in today's world, how do you connect with people, Oliver, while also setting boundaries to really make it very clear of what those boundaries are to your own emotional mental health, in order so that you don't lose yourself and so that you can be your best personally and professionally and while doing these projects?
yeah, I mean, there's small things that I do, but I will say, you know, it's like anything. It's like habit, right? We do these things and they help us, and then before you know, it's like a rubber band. Like you haven't done them for a week, and then you're straight back to where you started. So, you know, for me, it's like, I guess the acceptance of not trying to be perfect as well. You know, like you're allowed to do things that help you for 7 days, and then if you slip, it's fine. Don't then start resenting it and thinking it didn't work. Like get back on track. So things like for me, you know, I try and put my phone away, you know, after like 7, 8 p.m. You know, if I'm going to be at home and watch a movie, watch the movie, you know, watch the TV show or read a book, like put the phone away. And that's a big thing for me, because as I say, again, you know, we are so accessible 24/7. And, you know, when you're dealing with like different countries, there's always a time difference. So you're literally always responding or, you know, thinking or talking to someone if you're dealing with everything in real time. So I think it's important to separate yourself from technology, you know, at least, you know, a few hours every day, you know, in the morning. I say this now, I used to do it and I need to go back to doing it, but I used to charge my cell phone in the kitchen so that when I woke up, you know, I'd have an old school alarm clock and that would wake me up, and I'd actually wake up as opposed to my alarm on my phone going off and me grabbing it. And then the first thing you see are all the emails and all the messages, and you're straight in it. From the minute you open your eyes, you're back on that wheel, as opposed to, you know, taking 10, 15, 20 minutes to wake up, you know, readjust. So I think, you know, a lot of those things, the gratitude lists, you know, the healthy lifestyle, a lot of those things that we know are good for us. It's just about repetition and doing them as much as we can. And, you know, but for me, it's always been a back and forth cycle. You know, I've never been able to, I guess, do one thing and then do it forever. You know, it's like, as I say, those things that I just mentioned, they've definitely helped me. But I haven't, like, since the day I learned that they helped me, I haven't been perfect and done them every single day forever, you know? So I think learning that we don't have to be perfect, you know? We can try our best and it still might not be perfect, and that's fine.
And that's the whole point in living life, you know, is, you know, having stability and structure is really good. I think it works for most people. For someone like you, and just what I feel from your vibe, is, you know, you have a good balance of, you know, knowing what works for you on a steady basis, but also to where you give yourself permission to have leniency and to have experience. What does that mean to you, Oliver, when you think about life and the experiences? Do you make it a point, no matter where you are, even when you're home? I know you just posted a beautiful story on Instagram of your property out there in the Hollywood Hills, and it looks magical, absolutely magical. Do you take in those moments and really reinforce yourself to say and stop, like, wow, look at where I'm at, look at what I have, and really embrace and embody that of what you worked for?
Yeah, it's funny, I think, because and maybe it's a British mentality, but we're so, like, reserved, you know? I think I always thought that, though, by doing that, it was like from a place of ego, but it's not. You know, we should embrace and we should be proud of ourselves, and we should kind of have those moments where we're like, we acknowledge, I guess we acknowledge ourselves. And so I've started to do it more. And it's funny you mentioned that, Stephen, because for me, it is when I'm home. You know, I travel a lot. So when I can be home, I think about, wow, you know, like this is mine. And that's, you know, that's why I wanted my home to be like my little sanctuary as well. It's where I do get, like, my wellness, and, you know, I have my ice cold plunge and my sauna, and I try and do all the things that make me feel better at home. So it is my kind of sacred, you know, healthy space. But yeah, I mean, I do try and do that because, you know, it wasn't that long ago. I remember the days, you know, when I had, you know, juggling different jobs and struggling to make rent and jumping around, and, you know, we've all been through those tough times. And I guess it's important to acknowledge, you know, as we say, the success, that how far we've come. So I do try and do that. I probably don't do it enough, once again, but I do try and do that. And I think it's important for us all, wherever you're at, you know, whatever you're doing, you know, is to take those moments to just pause and be like, okay, you know, I'm on the right track, and, you know, look at the great things I have done, because for some reason, and I don't know why, but I feel like us as humans, we always go to the negative before we go to the positive. I don't know why that is, but our minds, or at least mine, goes to that. So I think it's about, like, counteracting. You know, the more we do the positive stuff and tell ourselves the positive things, the more that voice is probably going to be more prominent. So yeah, it's important to do. I don't do enough, but I will do it.
As long, it's going to come to you, and as you know, you have that moment to where you stop and reflect. It's going to come at the right and most perfect time for you, because, you know, knowing that you're, you know, a Taurus, you're an earth element, it is about balance. It is about self-reflection. And for you, one of the strongest feelings that I get is, I believe you attract people that are strong and resilient, but I also believe that the type of man and person that you are, and the spiritual embodiment that makes you Oliver, is that you also attract people that look for guidance and support and some sort of recognition to be that mirror, that reflection, to allow another person to be aware, or to remind them that who they are as self and as people or a person is important. So your mission out there is more than just what you've done in ballet and singing and acting, Oliver. I truly believe that you are a beacon of light, and that you are a mirror reflection to help remind other people. Because I don't know what your past was like, but I wouldn't doubt if you attracted people that, you know, were looking at you like Superman, like, hey, Oliver, can you come save the day or whatever, or, you know, you know, all of their, like, purged all of their emotional distress and trauma towards you or within your presence, and then ended up leaving without realizing, oh my God, I left Oliver with a mess. So when we think about the, like, boundaries and, once again, emotional mental health, in your strength, in your perseverance, and being that mirror reflection for other people and who you attract in your life to be for you. How do you really go about in remembering that you're leaving a legacy, but also at the same time, Oliver, you are awakening people to help them to realize that they can be more than what they are now?
Yeah, I guess I mean it's a big question. I don't really think of it that way. For me, it's just, be there for the people that, that try and be there for people,
Mm-hmm.
if someone needs you, with the extent of also, having those boundaries too, that you can't be there for everyone, and you have to look after yourself as well, because it's like that, what's that cliche thing that people say where when you're on the plane, you got to put your own mask on first before
Yeah.
you can, it's so true. So I think, ultimately be there for people, when you can, and be there for yourself as well. So I think it's just finding that balance. But I've never really, I guess I've never really thought about it, because it's just part of second nature. I come from quite a big family. I have 3 older brothers, and we're all there for each other. It's just part of life. So I think for me it's second nature. I just try and take every day as it comes, I guess.
In a recent Forbes interview, in a recent Zoom interview to be precise, the High School Musical actress revealed how she became obsessed with the cactus fruit flavor over an order of prickly pear margaritas when traveling with Trevena in Mexico. Coupled with her birthplace of California and constant quest for hydration, Hudges says joining Cali Water as a co-founder with Trevena, who was already a minority equity owner of the brand before becoming the majority owner after buying out the partners. It's a no-brainer. Tell us more about Cali Water. Why Cali Water? What are the benefits, and what does it do?
Yeah, so Cali Water it's a functional health beverage. It's cactus water. So if you think of the easiest way of putting it, if you think of coconut water, it's the same kind of premise. It comes from the cactus as opposed to the coconut, but it has half the calories, half the sugar, and more health benefits. And it also, as you just mentioned from Vanessa, it tastes great as a mixer. So it's kind of like that health beverage, but you can also, have some fun with it and make an extremely healthy cocktail by just pouring it over, tequila or vodka or whiskey or whatever you want. It just works so well as a mixer too. But primarily it's a functional health beverage. We're about 17 months into launch now. We launched last May. And yeah, we just launched a kids pouch that's coming out in a couple of weeks, because we've had such amazing feedback from kids too. So we've tested this drink now with everyone from a 2-year-old to an 80-year-old, and people just seem to love it. So yeah, it's an exciting company. Vanessa and I, love it dearly. We're both heavily involved across the board. From the flavors, we just launched a new watermelon flavor. So it's our brand. We're very active. It's not like celebrities that are attached to a brand that kind of do their thing and then step away. This is our baby. So we're day in, day out working on the brand. We also, a ton of friends kind of invested in it as well. So everyone from Glenn Powell, Ross Butler, Brooke Burke, DJ Ruckus, Gerard Butler. We've had so many people, Mike Coulter, Claudia Gadella from the UFC, Cody Bellinger from the Dodgers. Like it's been nonstop. Ryan Tedder, dear friend of mine, lead singer of One Republic and one of the most prolific producer songwriters of our time. He came in too. So it's a real friend family brand. We've got so many people involved, and we all love it, and we're all, passionate about it. So that's it really. I mean, it's, to give you some more stuff on the brand, it's hydration, immunity, antioxidants, skin benefits, digestion benefits. It's sustainable. A cacti, the prickly pear fruit that we get it from naturally drains. So it's not like you're, chopping up a prickly pear and then throwing it away. It naturally drains. We're in cans, so we're recyclable. So it's, recyclable, sustainable. And then we have a big give back element as well, which was important to Vanessa and I. We partnered with No Kid Hungry when we launched, and 5 cents from every can goes direct to the charity, up to a $2 million commitment that we pledged. So it's we wanted it to be a brand that, is fun, but it's healthy. It impacts people's life in a healthy way, and we give back. And it's, you know, good for the environment too. So we've tried to kind of tick every box that's important to us along this journey, and it's been great. You know, we've learned stuff along the way, like you do with any new venture. But we've been full on. It's been great fun, and it's a great drink. If you haven't tried it, you should try it. You can order it, you know, on our website, drinkcaliwater.com. You can order it on Amazon nationwide across the US. It's on Amazon Prime as well. And then we're in a ton of retailers as well, you know, hundreds of retailers across the US right now. So it's exciting.
I'm going to say I'm very impressed and very proud of you guys, because what is it? I drink, you would think I remember it, but I sometimes get it backwards, religiously. C2O, coconut water. I'm like,
yep,
really into it. And here's my question for you. I have a big pet peeve of certain companies that just overload the shit out of, you know, products, vitamins, water with sugars. What would be the sugar content? And the only reason why I drink C2O is because of the lack of added sugars and all the extra garbage and stuff like that. And I will not do sports drinks. In compared to coconut water, what's the carb content, the sugar content? Are there added sugars? Is it as natural as possible?
So we are all natural. We're organic. We're vegan. We're kosher. We tick, you know, every box there as well. You know, to give you a reference, we're like, you know, 25 calories a can. It's, as I say, it's all natural. We use monk fruit. We use a bit of agave. It's you know, it's a great drink. It's a healthy drink. And as you say, when you look at coconut water, you know, what people have there, I mean, that's why I stopped kind of drinking it, is because I'd love coconut water, and I'd go to bed and drink a can of coconut water and then realize how much sugar I just put in my body, you know? So it's an amazing drink, low sugar, all natural. As I say, organic, vegan, and that's why we're excited about the kids pouch as well, because it's going to be one of the healthiest kids pouches on the market, and kids have been choosing to drink it. It would be, you know, that's how that happened, is we would give a bunch of our friends or investors, you know, cans to try, and they would call us up and say, hey, can you send some more? Our kids drank it. And the great thing there is, we know kids don't drink anything they don't want to drink. You know, if they're going to the fridge and choosing to drink it, you know, it's choice. So you know, there's something there as well.
I love it. Let's talk about some of your upcoming projects that that are either, you know, not only coming up, but that you've done. One of the things that I had recently read about is you gave a really beautiful share and a heartfelt comment about your co-star Bruce Willis. Would you like to talk more about that?
Yeah, so I mean, Wire Room, it just came out on Apple TV. We filmed it, you know, end of last year. It was incredible to get to work with Bruce, you know, before his retirement. He's a lovely human being, and obviously just a legend. So, you know, love him and wish him all the best. And, you know, he'll always be remembered as an icon in our world. So yeah, Wire Room it's an action-packed, you know, movie. It's Bruce Willis, Kevin Dillon, and myself, and then a bunch of other great cast. And it's you know, I play Eddie Flynn, an Irish arms dealer. So it was a fun little role to dig into. It was a quick movie. You know, we shot the entire movie in like 8 days, which is unheard of in our industry. So it's you know, it was a quick project. We had to do a lot and move very fast. But I think, you know, considering the budget, the pace of the movie, and what we had to do in that time frame, I think, you know, how it turned out. Well, I know how it turned out is great, you know, with all those factors. So, you know, I'm proud of it. It's a great fun project. And yeah, it's as I say, it was a check off the bucket list to work with Bruce. So that's on Apple TV now. Yeah, you can watch that.
You also have recently invested in a company alongside Venus Williams called
Yes.
Happy Viking.
Yep. So Drink Happy Viking is it's a, you know, if you think of like a lean body, you know, ready to drink protein drink or a Weight Watchers drink, but it's just so much better. It's a great tasting vegan protein drink. It's got all the minerals and all the vitamins in there that you need. It's basically what, you know, Venus and Serena would make every day in their own smoothie. it's now in a drink ready to drink. So, you know, they're obviously just, I don't even know the word to use. They're just, you talk about superheroes. I mean, Venus and Serena are top of that. They're just incredible women, and I'm forever inspired by them. And so it was an exciting opportunity to get to partner with them on something. And this is, you know, Happy Viking. I think it's going to be an incredible company. It's new right now, you know, but it's a great product. They have great proteins as well. So yeah, you should check out the company. Drink Happy Viking. It's an amazing brand.
What are you most proud of today on a project investment? What do you want to highlight?
I mean, Cali Water's, you know, my baby. I have probably about, I would say, 13 other brands that I've invested in. You know, I love because I know how hard it was for me to get going. So I love investing and, you know, meeting people that are hungry about what they do. And I always invest, you know, for two reasons. It's the product, but it's also the people. So I have, you know, a great kind of portfolio, mostly in the health and wellness space of brands. And I love that. But Cali Water is ultimately, you know, my baby, or our baby, I should say, Vanessa and I's. And so that, yeah, I'm most proud of that. And then, you know, acting for me it's always going to be my passion. You know, people ask me all the time, they're like, well, your businesses are doing well, why do you need to act? And I'm like, even if I don't need to act and I never, ever have to earn a penny on set for the rest of my life, I choose to do it because I just love it. It's my fix. It's my hobby. It's when I feel, you know, so alive. So, you know, acting for me, I'll always be passionate about, and I'm excited about, you know, the projects I've done and what's ahead. I have a movie coming out with Gerard Butler, which comes out early next year. I'm off, as I say, to film another movie on Thursday in Puerto Rico with a dear friend of mine, Frank Grillo. And we've never got to work together before, but it's with Frank Grillo and Andy Garcia. So excited to work with them, you know, and you always get to meet new people. And, you know, I'm very grateful for this opportunity or these opportunities. So, you know, I'm happy with it all. It's going well. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for what's ahead with acting, because it's a tough industry to really get the ball rolling. And I feel like, you know, it's rolling, and I'm excited about everything I'm doing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more challenging roles and, you know, newer things. And that's the great thing about acting. You know, you get to play different characters. So every day on set or every project is such a new experience in every way, from the people, the place where you're filming, you know, the crew, and then the challenges of that character that you're bringing to the screen.
It is a true honor to have you here with us today, Mr.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Such a pleasure.
Oliver Trevena. And I'm saying that correctly, right? Because sometimes my Jersey accent or the way I speak, you know, from being East Coast, I can tend to change things up.
You know what, Stephen? It's Trevena, but
Trevena.
My British accent ruins so many names too. So nothing personal. I knew who you were talking to. So you're all good, mate. You're all good.
Oliver Trevena. Thank you.
There you go.
I love it.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Cheers, brother.
All right.
Take care.
You too. Thank you to everyone for tuning in live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 satellite radio. Oliver Trevena, truly a remarkable man, investor, actor, doing great things. Once again, Cali Water, check that out. You don't want to miss all of the great things of with this new drink, and I'm looking forward to trying it, of what it can do to give you better than what most drinks out there can, and that's really reduced sugar and none of that disgusting additive garbage that we usually see in most drinks. Big shout out to Sonava Photography with their latest with Oliver from the Cool America Fall 2022 issue. Definitely head on over to Sonava Photography, CINAVA_photography, of all their latest and greatest of photos, photo shoots, videos, and more. We've also got producer and director Jason Ragusta today. He's going to be on at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Looking forward to finding out to talk about more of his latest film project and more. We recently had Eric Fellows regarding his support, his main role in Tubi's hit new film, Starfucker. We've also got reality TV star on September 29th, Isaiah Campbell, and Sean Say on October 6th. Fabian Arnold tomorrow, 12 p.m. Pacific, and more. Power985.com.
Friend us on your socials and let's connect.